Why winners talk about what they made happen and why most people don't. There's a phrase that quietly exposes how someone sees themselves. Winners talk about what they made happen. Losers talk about what happened to them. This isn't about success or failure. It's about agency. It's about how identity is formed. And it's about why two people can experience the same event and walk away becoming very different kinds of leaders. Today, I want to unpack what this actually means and, more importantly, how to live differently because of it. I'm Lem Usita. Thanks for checking out the channel where we talk about identity and how we can become more ourselves. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to hear more, or check out one of the playlists that I have on my channel. Most people think identity is about personality, values, or confidence. It's not. Identity is about who you believe you are in relation to power and responsibility. At the deepest level, identity answers one question over and over again. Am I someone who shapes outcomes or someone who mainly reacts to them? When people say, "This happened to me," they're not just describing an event, they're narrating where causality lives in their life. And when people say, "This is what I did," even when things went wrong, they're reinforcing something very different. I'm a causal force. That distinction forms identity long before it shows up as behavior. Identity forms through interpretation before action. Before you change what you do, you change how you explain what happened. If you consistently interpret life as something that acts on you, your identity slowly becomes passive, even if you're talented, educated, or driven. But if you consistently interpret life as something you participate in shaping, your identity becomes something you have agency over, even in seasons of limitation or loss. This is why language matters. Words matter, not because words are magic, but because repeated narratives train the self. Repeated narratives forms your sense of identity and self. So the real question isn't, do I agree with this phrase? The real question is, what do I do with this once I see it? Let me give you 5 principles you can actually practice. Principle 1, audit your language before you fix your behavior. Most people try to change habits without changing narration. Start here instead. Listen to how you explain outcomes. Do you default to, "They didn't give me a chance," or "the system is broken, that's just how it goes"? Or do you include yourself in the explanation? This isn't about self-blame, it's about self-location. If you are never in the story, you will never be responsible for changing it. Principle 2, separate responsibility from control. High agency people do not claim total control. They claim responsibility for their response, their next decision, and the environment they influence. Leadership breaks down when people confuse lack of control with lack of responsibility. You may not control what happened, you always control what happens next. That distinction is where agency lives. Principle 3, rewrite failure as participation, not persecution. Low agency identity says, "This happened to me." High agency identity says, "I was involved in this outcome, even if indirectly." That shift is uncomfortable. It removes excuses, but it also restores power. If you had a small role, even a small one, you have leverage for change. Victim narratives soothe the ego. Participation narratives grow the self. Principle 4, ask better questions in real time. In moments of frustration, leaders ask different questions. Not, "Who messed this up?" but, "What is mine to own here?" Not, "Why does this keep happening to me?" but, "What pattern am I participating in?" Questions shape identity because they shape attention, and attention determines growth. Let me say that for you one more time. Questions shape identity because they shape attention, and attention determines growth. And whatever you're paying attention to is shaping who you're becoming. Principle 5, model agency before you demand it. If you lead others at work, at home, or in community, this matters deeply. People do not follow titles, they follow posture. When leaders narrate their own mistakes with ownership, teams learn safety. When leaders externalize blame, teams learn avoidance. Agency is contagious, so is passivity. And your language is forming someone else's identity right now. This phrase isn't about winners and losers, it's about authors and observers. Over time, you become the story you keep telling about yourself. And the most formative question you can ask is not what happened to me, but what am I making happen now? Because identity doesn't change all at once, it changes one interpretation at a time. Now, if this resonated with you, sit with it for a week. Don't judge yourself, but locate yourself. And that's where real leadership and real formation begins. Thanks for checking it out. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments. And if you want more of this, please don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to have these conversations with you. And if there's anything that you want to hear or anything that you think I should record, please let me know. And don't forget, be unique, but belong.